Good morning. It is Thursday, September 26th, 2024. It's 11:32 a.m. This is Jeff Pastor, Chair of the Lancaster Board of Health, and the meeting is now called to order.
Excuse me, Jeff, it's 9:32 a.m.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant to say, 9:32 a.m. We have members, Melinda Apgar, as well as Sheila Mallet here, and our Neshoba health agent, Bill Brookings, and Samantha Zedeker, Administrator for Lancaster Department of Health and Human Services. I'd like to welcome all guests and thank them for their involvement in Board of Health business and remind everyone that the meeting is recorded. I do have everybody's first and last name on the screen, which I appreciate. As a reminder, if you do have any questions or comments, please raise your hand, either like literally raise your hand, or you can use the icon. There's a raise hand icon on the Zoom bar at the bottom of your screen, or there's a reactions icon, which should have a raise hand option. So if you can raise your hand when you want to speak to any agenda item, I will recognize you. Please make sure that you keep any of your questions or comments very brief and specific to the agenda item. If there are other issues that people want to address that are not on the agenda, I may take them at the end of the meeting, depending on how much time we have. And just want to note that we have very limited time today. We have both Bill and Melinda who need to leave by 11, so I'm going to be going through these agenda items relatively quickly. Bill, do you want to start off with the permits?
Sure. 2454 North Main Street is just a owner transfer. So just change of name on a septic permit for a new construction house on North Main.
All right. So really no specific action for the board to take. It's just a notification, and the board would give you the ability to follow through with completing that work because of our approval. Is that right?
Right. I'll draft a permit and sign it for the board. Yep.
Okay. Any questions or comments, Sheila or Melinda, before we allow Bill to do that? Oh. Okay, great.
No comments.
All right, thanks, Bill. How about 531 South Meadow? There's a D box there.
That is a permit to replace a distribution box, which is called out in a Title V inspection we have later on in the agenda. So again, I can draft that permit and sign it for the board.
Okay, so that includes the Title V as well as the permit up here.
Yep.
Okay. Unless there's any objections by Sheila or Melinda, we'll appreciate you taking those actions on our behalf, Bill. Thank you.
Good.
And Lot 2 Fire Road, number 10, a septic system. Is that an upgrade to an existing system?
No, that's a new lot. We should have a plan on that. And Brian Melissi is here also. Maybe we can discuss that.
I can pull it up.
That's a nice looking lot.
Yeah.
It's coming. Sorry, my computer is really slow today. Sorry, it's really taking its time to think. Would
Was
it
there
maybe be
anything,
quicker if Brian has
anything, Bill, is there anything under inspection reports, Title V, that we can talk about without need for Sam's computer while she's
Sure.
having that one pulled up?
Yeah, 75 Beach Ave, I had not received. I thought I would by this meeting, but I do not, so that'll be next meeting.
Alrighty,
32 Evelyn Place is a pass.
okay,
531 South Meadow Road needs the D box, which is again the permit we had up above. 28 Kinnear Ave needs some well testing done. I spoke to the inspector about that, and he is following up on testing the necessary wells. 1312 Main is a failure, so we'll do our standard 2-year to upgrade letter for that one, but we've already approved a permit for that upgrade, but we still write that letter, letting the owner know they have 2 years to upgrade that failed system. And 2501 North Main is a pass.
What about 28 Kinnear Ave?
Yeah, that's the one that needs the well testing, and I've spoken to the inspector, and that's in process.
What about 1997 Lunenburg
Oh,
Road?
jump right over it. That's a
Okay.
pass.
All
Yep.
right, my bad. I mixed them up.
No, I think I did jump over 1997.
So Lunenburg Road's a pass, and the other ones, the Kinnear Avenue needs the well testing. Okay.
Yep.
all right, so the ones that will stay on the agenda for our next meeting will be 75 Beach Ave, 28 Kinnear Ave, and that's really it. Everything else is passed. The one that's failed, 1312 Main Street, doesn't need to stay on our agenda. That will just happen. We'll get that back at some point when they move forward on it. Is that
Correct.
right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, very good. All right, I guess we still don't have the lot for
I'm getting there. I'm sorry. It's
that's right. Technology, not your issue. Let's go to discussion. Let's start off with 27 Russell Lane. I'm not going to get into the entire history here. However, board was initially involved at this address because of a complaint about noise. We went through numerous processes to resolve it. That complaint wasn't finally resolved. However, there was another issue in that the property had a trailer. Okay, looks like we're getting our plot plan. Well,
it's not opening still though, so keep going.
okay. So there was an occupied trailer on the property. There was a trailer on the property which appeared to be occupied. There was trash and refuse immediately outside the trailer. There was an overflowing dumpster nearby the trailer, and there was a generator which was connected to the trailer and at various times was running. So we suspected that there was an occupied trailer. And we noted that in our minutes, and in order to follow up on that, yesterday, the building inspector commissioner, Bill Brookings, myself, and Sheila visited the property. We noted that the trailer was still there. There was a generator that had been covered based on previous visit observations, which was still present, but there was no trash. The dumpster was not overflowing, and everything looked okay there. We did go to the front door, knocked on the door. Door was answered by an individual who was asked if he knew if the trailer was occupied, and he responded yes. And I confirmed verbally that the trailer was being occupied by a family relative. So since we know now that the trailer is occupied, it becomes incumbent upon the board, based on state regulations prohibiting temporary occupancy or residence in a trailer on the property, to take action to deal with that. So that's my sort of summary. Let me finish this one, Sheila, and then we'll get over to that drawing in a second. Thanks for pulling that up. So Bill, could you just comment on my description of the situation at 27 Russell?
Completely accurate.
Okay. And can you summarize what our responsibilities are as a Board of Health?
Well, the owner's already been cited about the temporary housing, so failure to comply with that original order will result in additional action by the board. I assume we'll follow the same path we've been following on Kilbourne Road as an example, but we may just double check with town council to make sure that's the route.
Well, I think we've dealt with these issues before. I think we do have process, as you've stated, a process to at least start out. So I think that we can see what Melinda and Sheila think, but I think to begin the process and try to leave town council out of it unless we get we have a problem with the response is my suggestion is that we draft a letter to the owner of the property. Let them know that we visited there yesterday, that we were told by a resident of the house that the trailer was occupied, and cite the violations that apply, and let them know that we would require evidence that the occupancy of the trailer is discontinued within, let's say, maybe 10 business days, something in that order.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can follow up with another visit at that point. And if we still have reason to believe that the trailer is still occupied, then I would suggest that we ask town council for options.
Okay. And I think the police chief indicated he'd be willing to take that to the house for us. So once it's drafted, we'll go that route.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, so we'll draft it.
Sheila, Melinda, questions, comments?
Excuse me. So my question is, after the property owner receives the letter, they'll have 10 days to respond to the letter, or 10 days to have the trailer vacated?
Well, there was no response to the letter. The letter is going to state they have 10 days to assure that the trailer is vacated.
Okay, thanks.
And that the letter will state that we will plan to be visiting the property again on such and such a date, whatever 10 days would be henceforth from the date of the best date that we can predict that the letter would be served by Commissioner Moody.
We could say 10 days after service.
Okay, great. That'd be great wording. Melinda, question?
I'm sorry.
Is this a cease and desist?
Yeah, it's a requirement to cease occupancy.
Okay, I'm perfectly fine with that. That's in line with what we decided last month, and I think that's the course that we should continue to take. So that sounds
Yeah,
good.
it'll be similar to the wording on Neck Road. I think we did some, like a cease occupancy, so we'll get something drafted up for review.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the more consistent we are with our language across the board on these cases, the better off we are.
Absolutely.
Correct. And so my other question is this going to be a certified letter or is it going to be being served by the constable? Because you did mention Chief Moody.
Yeah, yesterday the police chief said he'd be willing to serve it as constable. He was certainly successful with the generator issue, so hopefully willing to assist us with this issue.
Okay.
So we'll ask Commissioner Moody to serve it, and we'll also CC it as we normally do, Samantha, to the town officials so that they know what's going on, since the next step in the process would be to involve town council if we are unsuccessful with the homeowner in achieving a vacancy of the trailer.
I have a couple of questions just to clarify for the minutes. Who from Board of Health visited the trailer?
Yesterday it was myself, Jeff Pastor, Shayla Millette, and the building inspector, Mike Silva.
Perfect. You said you knocked on the door. Was that at the trailer or at the house?
At the house.
Thank you. And are we looking to have the trailer moved from the property or vacant?
Proof that it's not occupied. Mike's code allows one unoccupied trailer to be stored on site. So again, we would inspect the trailer to see if we consider it occupied. Kind of like we did on Harvard Road was an example of someone not being in a trailer, but the trailer still being there, being stored.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or comments before we move on to our next agenda item?
I just one comment just for the record to consider that we just note that we're moving forward with the constable again, and that we should consider this as part of our process for consistency going forward.
I'm not sure. I'd like us to take that on a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
You know, the constable had already been involved in this particular address and had been successful in the past. So I think that's and had already volunteered to do this. So I think that's our rationale. But normally the expense of involving the Commissioner Moody, his time, the cost, and you know, is something that I'd like to try to avoid. And you know, so I would suggest that we take these on a case-by-case basis. Most of the time in the past, we've used a certified mail return receipt requested to communicate these cease and desist orders.
Okay.
All right. Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. Samantha, I'll leave it to you with Bill's assist to draft a letter, send it to us for review. We can try to get back very quickly with a sign off on it, and then we can get that letter served and copied to the town officials that usually receive such notification. Okay, I'm assuming that Samantha's okay with that, so let's move. Yeah, okay. Great. Can we zoom in a little bit closer to the septic area and the house on this drawing? Is that, and Bill, do you want to walk us through this one?
Sure, Brian can fill in any gaps, but basically this is a new building lot being subdivided off of a parcel that has an existing home on it. The proposed system is fully compliant with state and local regs. There were some minor revisions needed on the plan, but if the board has any questions, let me know. If not, again, I would draft a permit, hold the permit for that revised information to be received and reviewed.
Okay, I think I'm okay with that. Questions or comments, Melinda, Sheila?
What's the number of people?
Um, as far as bedrooms,
Yeah, bedroom, sorry.
let's see. Looks like it's being designed for 8.
If I may, excuse me, my voice is kind of going.
8 bedrooms? Wow.
Yeah, it's being designed for 8 with some plumbing in the proposed barn. You see kind of in the upper right or the upper part of the plan.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is sand and gravel soils, and a pipe and stone trench system, but it is designed for that flow.
Okay.
And we've asked for a breakdown if there's going to be bedrooms in that detached unit. We just want to know 6 in the house, 2 in the unit, 7 in one. However, that's going to play out, and we'd see that on building plans also when the building permit comes before us for review.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Do we need a motion and a vote on this one, Bill, or can you just carry it forward for us?
Again, this would be a situation where if the board's okay with the plan, I will draft a permit, sign it for the board. But again, it will be held until I get those revisions on the plan.
Okay. That seems reasonable. That's consistent with our past practice. Any objections, Sheila or Melinda?
No.
All right, so we'll ask you to follow up, Bill, with this after
Yes.
its plans revised in accordance with your requirements, and we'll expect it to go through on its own unless we hear from you that it needs to come back to the agenda.
Correct.
And Ron or Brian, any other comments or questions on your end?
Nope, I'm all set. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, I'm also with everything.
All right. Good. Well, let's close this one out. Thank you both for being here. Much appreciated.
Oh, Jeff, Ron and Brian are here for Laurel Hill Road.
Right.
Okay.
Brian happens to be the engineer also for the Fire Road 10, but he's also for Laurel Hill Road further in the agenda.
Great. Why don't we jump to that and let's cover that one, and that way we can let Brian and Ron drop off and go about their day.
Yeah, I think we have a plan on that one also.
I'm trying to pull it up now.
All right. While Samantha's doing that, let me just ask Peter Campobasso. Appreciate you being here at the meeting. Can you tell me what, if any, agenda item you're here to discuss?
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chairman. I represent Harbor Classic Homes, so I'm here on the Laurel Hill Estates matter as well.
Okay, great. And we'll get to that one next, so you'll be able to participate and go about your business. How about Elias Faraklis? Elias, would you comment on your reason for being here? You can be here just to observe, of course, but do you have a specific agenda item?
Yeah, I don't have a specific agenda item today. I was kind of interested in how you guys did your business. I've been talking with Bill about a separate issue, and I just wanted to see how you guys operated and join you.
Hi, Elias.
Hey, good morning.
This didn't make it to the agenda, but it will be discussed.
Okay, very good. It's nice to meet all of you.
Great to have you here, Elias. Same question for you, Susan. Susan, are you here today for any specific agenda item or listening in and observing?
Just observing.
Okay, great to see you again. All righty, Laurel Hill. You want to start us off, Bill, and then we can have the other folks.
Basically, this is it's a plan that's showing a proposed, and again, I'm gonna let the other folks fill in the gaps. A proposed plan for a force main for a shared system, which don't know if it's been designed, but certainly hasn't been submitted for my review yet. Owners, I guess, would like to pave the road, and the installer of the force main is concerned about disturbing the pavement, during construction or installation of that force main if it happens after the paving. To my knowledge, most of the force main is installed out of the paved areas. I think there are a few points where, the force main will cross the paved road. So again, I'm not sure installing the entire force main makes sense because again, it's being done at owner's risk. We don't really have a plan that shows, elevations or design. It's kind of a generic plan that shows location and pipe size. I was thinking about this. I don't know if putting sleeves in at proposed crossings would make sense, and then the force main could be installed outside of the paved area, or it has to cross paving, it could be put through the sleeve. So I don't know if that option has been thought about by the installer, the property owner, or the engineer, but I'll let Brian or Peter or Ron, whoever would like to take it from there.
Mr. Chair, Brian Melissy with Haley Ward. Yeah, Bill did a pretty good job of kind of explaining it. What we've done is we showed a plan showing the force main. On this sheet here, you see off to the plan west or the left side of the plan, we have an area contemplated for a shared system for some of the upper lots where we found the soil change and we're unable to get some percolation tests. And so while the contractor wants to try to get the road paved, we contemplated showing the force main, where it was going to go. We do show, if you want to go to the second page, Samantha, we do show a couple of crossings on the plan. And what Bill mentioned is exactly what we're going to try to do. We're going to put sleeves in underneath the pavement or in the roadway now before we pave, such that we don't have to disturb the pavement later on. We just wanted to be above board, let the Board of Health know what we were doing. So later on down the road, when these force mains were installed through the sleeves, we don't run into a situation where, you, the board, or Bill, the reviewer, says, geez, I wasn't aware of that. What's going on? Nobody ever witnessed those go in. So we're here today to kind of fill in those blanks a little bit. We provided this plan to show you where those sleeves were going to go. And we're just trying to get ahead of kind of the upcoming winter season and get the road paved and buttoned up.
Yeah, I think I understand. That makes a lot of sense. I'm going to summarize it very, very briefly. You're here to request or to provide us with awareness and request our agreement for you to install sleeves that would eventually be buried underneath a roadway as yet to be constructed, but soon to be constructed, that you'd like to get done before the season changes into winter, to allow for eventually the installation of a shared system, shared force main system. That I think that's what we're trying to do here. That makes perfect sense. I think that we just want to make sure that it's very clear that should the board vote to agree to approve this, that in no way obligates the board to approve any further plans or work. All of those would have to be submitted, and if for some reason there's a problem with the plan moving forward, the fact that we may have approved the sleeve installation does not obligate the board or the town in any way. If we have to make a decision based on regulations or public safety, public health issues to deny further requests. So I don't think that's going to happen. I just want to make sure that all that's clear.
Well, Mr. Chair, I think it's absolutely clear. Again, the roadway is kind of being gravelled. The roadway is basically constructed except for the final graveling and the pavement. As a matter of fact, the planning board is using, I believe it's CEI, to do some of the inspections on the roadway itself. They were going to use some of the trenching for the sleeves to actually look at some of the gravel base and whatnot that had been installed some time ago. So again, we just wanted to make sure that you guys, that you being the Board of Health, were aware of it. And if there was any inspections that needed to be done on those sleeves, we could try to coordinate those while they're being installed.
Would that be necessary, Bill?
Not a bad idea. They let me know.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to ask, in a second, I'm going to ask Melinda and Sheila for questions or comments. But before I do, I want to make sure that we're clear that the next step would be to, after questions, comments are asked and answered, to have a motion proposed by one of the board members to approve the installation of these sleeves at this construction site in advance of an installation of a forced main system to be done at a later date. And that included in the motion would be that Harbor Classic Homes would notify Bill Brookings for him to be able to do an inspection of the work to make sure that it looks like that's not going to be any kind of problem that the board would have to contend with in the future. So having said all that, Melinda, Sheila, any questions or comments?
I do not.
No, not at this time.
Okay. Can we get a motion? Well, actually, let me ask anybody else in the meeting, anybody else from the public present that would like to make any statement or comment or question about what we're talking about on this agenda item. All right. Let's entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to approve the installation of the sleeves to assist with the shared force water main, and this will be the only approval for this project, thank you, at this point in time. And we will be working with Harbor Classic Houses to Harbor Classic Houses will notify Bill once the installation is complete. This is a road that has not been installed yet, that is going to be installed, and Harbor Classic Homes will notify Bill once the installation is complete for him to do an inspection, and upon Bill's inspection, we'll be able to move forward or not be able to move forward.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
I think that's
was much more elegant, Jeff.
that's about 93%. That's good.
Okay.
I'll just make a friendly amendment to the motion that the inspection will be done at the request of Harbor Classic Homes when it's appropriate. It may not be at the end of their installation. It may be in the middle of their process if there's something they want him to look at. We'll let Bill and the project managers wrestle with that one. And so, yeah, I think that's largely complete. Sheila, does that make sense to you?
I will second the motion.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Roll call vote. Melinda Apgar.
Aye.
Sheila Mallett.
Aye.
Jeff Pastor, aye. Motion carries unanimously. Good luck. And I'm sure we'll see you again in the future when as the project moves forward.
I'm sure you will. Thank you guys very much for your time.
Yes, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Bill, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Once Bill does the inspection, the board is approving him to do the permit.
Nope, this is just be the installation of sleeves. There'll be a design plan at some point submitted for review and permitting for the shared system, but this is truly just sleeves, so the pavement won't have to be cut when that force main is installed.
Okay.
So we're not approving the project. We're not approving the force main system. We're not approving anything other than we're agreeing on the installation of the sleeves that will later hold the force main system so that they can pave the road.
Perfect. So there's no follow-up from us after the inspection?
There's no what?
Follow-up needed?
No.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. All right. Excellent. Let's move on to our next agenda item. Yeah, let's go to 132 Kilbourne Road. So again, very, very brief summary of the history of this agenda item. We were notified of an issue at 132 Kilbourne Road that was based on a trailer that was presumed or thought to be occupied on the property. We, the Board of Health, along with building inspector, formed a site visit. We did find occupants of the trailer at the time, and through a number of different meetings and processes, again, shortcutting all the details which are in the past minutes of the Board of Health. We issued a cease and desist order for the trailer to be vacated. We went back to the property yesterday to verify that the trailer was vacant. We met, for the record, the visit was performed by Bill Brookings, Mike Silva, building commissioner, Jeff Pastor, as well as Sheila Mallett. The four of us were there. And also Commissioner Moody, the five of us. We knocked on the door. The owner of record is an individual who has since been deceased. We had worked with her son in the past, and she had given us in the past permission to speak with him on her behalf. She is now deceased. We do not believe the property has transferred hands, but that's really a moot point. The owner of record's son opened the door. There was discussions that proceeded, and he verbally confirmed that the trailer continued to be occupied. We reminded him of the cease and desist order. We also reminded him that in past meetings we had stated that we, the Board of Health, would seek assistance via town council to assure that the public health and public safety was protected by having that trailer vacated. We let him know that, in fact, we did seek legal opinion from town council, which we received. And as a result of that, at least one of the steps that we have taken is that we have issued a letter that is in the process of being delivered by constable, notifying him that he is now subject to fines in the amount of $500 per day until such time as the trailer is vacated. I believe that's a quick summary. Bill, for legal reasons, we're going to try to keep the details minimal. I think those are the main details that we can, since the matter is now part of the portfolio of the town council. I don't want to get into too much additional detail, but can you verify that what I've stated is correct?
What you've stated is correct, and I did get a call from Heiko, and I spoke to him this morning. He indicated that the trail is being emptied and is to be removed. It doesn't change the course of our action once we receive that proof of service, but just a heads up to the board that I did receive that information from Heiko this morning.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah, what we told Heiko yesterday, because Heiko is the name of the the owner's son. That's his first name. We did tell him that as soon as we, the board, are able to determine, based on him inviting us back to do a reinspection, if that were to occur in the immediate near term, like today, tomorrow, over the next couple of days, and he can invite us back, and we can have demonstrable proof that the trailer is vacant, then we would rescind the fine decision. Because really our goal here is not to penalize the owner financially. Our goal here is to protect the health and safety of the community, of the occupants of the trailer, and others that could be affected by it. So if that situation is reversed, the occupancy being via the trailer becoming vacant, whether it stays on the property or not, again, as we stated in the previous case, it can stay there as long as it's not occupied. The board doesn't have any reason or need to have it removed. That would be up to the owner to decide. So in the meantime, we would continue to assure that the letter is delivered by constable, which from what I understand from Samantha, that we were told on Monday that it would be delivered within the next few days. So presumably it's already been delivered or is about to be delivered. And then we will wait to, probably wait until, Bill, based on your conversations with Heiko, do you think it's possible that the trailer will be vacated today or tomorrow?
I think his hope is that it's removed today and tomorrow. And he said,
Okay.
It was clear at the end of our discussion that he would call me and let me know, and I would immediately
All right.
let the board know.
All right, so why don't we, my suggestion to the board is that we let Bill proceed on his course and communication with Heiko. We may, since again, Commissioner Moody has a relationship in this particular case, it's possible he may become involved. He's already expressed willingness to be involved if necessary. So let's let this play itself out over the next few days. Since we've already been on record about this case multiple times, including today, I think it would be reasonable for the board to continue to take interim action over the course of the next month before the next meeting. That action could be to rescind the fines if, in fact, the trailer is removed or vacated, and we have made that proof determination by visit. Or we could decide to take further legal action if that does not occur. Thoughts, questions, or comments from Sheila or Melinda?
No, I think that's a good plan. I agree with you with the possibility of, looking at rescinding fines if he's able to have the trailer vacated, especially in the short amount of time that he'll be receiving that notice. It's good. So we'll wait for Bill to let us know when we might need to have another visit there.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Melinda?
I don't have anything.
Okay. All right, awesome. Thank you, Bill, for the follow-up. Much appreciated. And by the way, Sheila, thanks for being with us yesterday on both of those visits. That's quite helpful. And anybody else present have any thoughts, questions, or comments about 132 Kilbourne?
I will update the board when the deputy sheriff lets me know the date the letter was delivered. She emailed back saying she would check and let me know.
Right, so you can just let us know by email, Samantha, when you find that out.
Yes.
Perfect. All righty. Okay. Well, let's keep going. 679 George Hill. The last remaining agenda item on this property has to do with the irrigation well permit request, which we had come before the board at our last meeting or the meeting before our last meeting. We had provisionally agreed on it subsequent to review by the water department. And it looks like from the agenda that occurred. So apparently the water department has agreed to allow the irrigation well installation. If that's true, then I don't think the board has any reason to not approve the permit. We had already discussed with the engineer our concern that we make sure that there's no way for cross connection to ever occur, so that irrigation well could never be used for potable water. That was agreed to and is a part of a deed restriction, I believe, Bill,
Well, basically, it's going to be
some-
part of the well permit now that will be drafted after today's meeting, and that well
Okay.
permit has to be recorded in the deed of the property prior to drilling the wells.
Great. All right. So is my description accurate, Bill, as far as
Yes.
where we are with this one?
Yeah, it came
All
to the
right.
board. The board approved the locations, went to water department. They indicated they had no problem with it as long as it's not tied to the house. And we would proceed now with drafting the permit and having it, the owner would have it recorded.
Great. So unless there's any discussion, questions, or comments by Sheila or Melinda, we would ask that Bill follow through on our behalf with the drafting of those documents and sign-offs. We would become quite close to having 679 George Hill Road off of the Board of Health's agenda for, I think, the first time in perhaps 4 years, possibly longer. Sheila, Melinda, questions, comments, concerns?
I'm sure
No.
it's only temporary.
Oh, don't jinx us.
I'm all set.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you, Bill. Let's keep going. We're supposed to finish this meeting by 11. Looks like we're going to be done by 10:30. Of course, now I just jinxed us, didn't I? Well, 194 Grant Way, the very brief history on this is that the board had received a complaint from abutters of this sand removal site, sand mining site, basically. Quite a number of months ago, they were getting dust and debris on their property, causing them discomfort and some damage to the property in terms of sand and their screen doors and such like that. We've had communications back and forth with the company responsible for the piles of sand. Most of them had been moved such that they would no longer affect the property that had filed a complaint. There was still one remaining pile that, if I'm understanding Bill correctly, the company owner decided to leave because he felt that it was of a grit type such that it should not cause trouble for the abutters. We have, I think, asked him or are about to ask him to please move that pile as well, just to make sure that it doesn't cause any problems to the abutters and to completely resolve the issue. The owner of the company has been reasonably cooperative about the whole process, and I don't have any reason to believe there'd be a problem with that. So I think the next step would be to assure that that does happen, and maybe do a final inspection to see that everything is resolved. How is my description of this issue, Bill? Did I miss anything?
It's right on. I did a site inspection Tuesday. That pile was still there. I discussed with the owner the board's desire to have it moved, even though it may be a coarser material. It may not cause dust in the wind. And he said within 2 weeks it will be removed. So I will be re-inspecting, or I told him to call me when that's done so I can take a look and verify.
Okay.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we'll wait to hear from him and see if we can get this item closed out. Questions, comments, concern, Melinda or Sheila?
Nope.
Okay. We've handled 194 Laurel Hill Road. The last item, unless there's anything else from anybody, will be the arbovirus update.
Beth, I did get an update. The letter was served on 9/25 at 12:09 p.m.
Okay, so that was yesterday. Yesterday, at 12:09 p.m. Okay, great.
And I'll
All
forward
right.
that so that you have the copy.
Fantastic. That would be good to have that documented. Also, it's part of the minutes now too, so that's good. So that would have been probably just a couple of hours after we left the property yesterday.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. All right. Very, very good. Thank you, Samantha. So, arbovirus, again, as people I think are aware, is a generic term which covers diseases spread by ticks and mosquitoes, arthropods. This is the time of year in which those diseases that are transmitted, particularly by mosquitoes, become at a peak. The board receives, courtesy of Mass Department of Public Health, weekly reports on positive cases. We did act several weeks ago. Samantha may have the exact date, but we did act. Actually, it's more like a month ago, I think, based on what seemed to be an uptick in West Nile virus and Eastern equine encephalitis (EE) cases. We reposted notifications on our website for the town residents to be aware that this is the season where there's danger to be infected by mosquitoes and or ticks. We provide information, very nicely well-written information that we get from either the DPH or the CDC or both to instruct people on how to be safe in these conditions. The cases have continued to go up. They are a little bit higher than they have been in past years. Not alarmingly so, but significant. However, the good news is that the season is rapidly coming to an end. The weather is cooling off. Usually by the end of September, mid-October at the latest, the risk tends to drop off precipitously. So the report that I have is the cumulative number of cases effective, the last report I have, which was September 21, 2024, just a few days ago, where total human cases of West Nile virus was 11. Total cases of EE over the same cumulative period, i.e. this season, were 4. And that's out of 212 people that were tested for those diseases. So a little bit higher than we'd like to see. We've had no cases in our immediate vicinity geographically. We have had a couple of cases as close to us as Worcester. But in my opinion, there's probably no real action for us to take. This is just a report. Since I've been reporting, maybe not quite this much detail at previous meetings, just to summarize where we are. Questions, comments, concerns, suggestions about West Nile EE. There's other diseases that are associated, but none of them have been reported.
So, Jeff, would you be able to comment on the opt-out program for spraying?
The town is covered by a group called Central Mass Mosquito Control Program. I believe that's what the initials are. And that organization routinely sprays public areas of the town every year during season. They also provide a service where residents can contact them directly and ask to be sprayed. Now, when I say that they can ask to be sprayed, that doesn't mean that they can be sprayed like a commercial vendor might come in and spray your property in detail, but they will spray from the public access routes. If people do not want to be, if they don't want to be sprayed as part of the regular public spraying that Central Mass Mosquito does, they can contact the company, give them their address, and tell them to please not, to turn off the sprayer if they are coming anywhere near their property. So that's as best I can answer the opt-out. So it's all a communication between individual homeowners, either who want to be sprayed or who do not want to be sprayed with Central Mass Mosquito.
Okay.
I should have added as well that we did have a communication, I think 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, with them by request to have the school sprayed. So there was an additional spraying of the Mary Rawlinson School area. When that happens, the town has to sign off on it, which we did. And the abutters of the school are notified by Central Mass of that spraying, so people are at least aware of it, and then have the opportunity to express any concerns that they may have.
Okay, Thanks. I just think that that was good to have for the record, so that folks realize that there is a process that they can follow, and that there's processes that the board has to follow for the general public, health and
Right.
welfare. So,
Right. And the board, is generally biased in favor of spraying, mainly again to protect the public from these extremely life-threatening diseases. The town has engaged Central Mass for a number of years in their work on our behalf, on the behalf of the residents of the town. So, but yeah, our position is to make sure that people are aware of it and have the opportunity to opt out should they choose to, or to opt in for more additional spraying if they feel that that's necessary. All right. It looks like we're kind of out of agenda items. I do have one thing to cover. As some of you know, as board chair, I will be unavailable to meet in October. I want to go over, first of all, I want to do the approval of minutes and set up a meeting time for October. But I will not be able to attend. I'm having personal health issues, which require me to undergo surgery on October 10th. And I'll be out for a bit. So you all will have to continue on in my stead until I have fully recovered and able to return to service on the Board of Health. Before we get to the approval minutes, the next proposed meeting would normally be October 24 of 2024 at our usual time of 9:30. How is that for Bill, Melinda, and Sheila?
Works for me.
It works for me.
That works okay for me.
That's fine.
All right. So we will plan to meet then. I should be able to let you know ahead of time if I would plan on me not being there. If I do feel like I'm able to be there, I will certainly come. But that's just a notification about that. And we've got minutes to approve from August. Is that correct, Samantha? Go ahead, Melinda.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to, can I just add one more thing here, at the end? We recently, I took over for the Region 2 FEP, Public Health Emergency Preparedness Program, for the Lancaster Board of Health. And I just wanted to kind of give a quick update real quick because, we've been meeting as a steering committee, which, I didn't know that I somehow got elected to the executive committee too. So we are I maybe we could put a spot on the agenda just for me to give a Region 2 FEP update at the monthly meeting. There may be some information that would be helpful to share. And also the executive committee, we're currently in strategy sessions we're preparing for a contract. We're looking for to hire a Region 2 FEP coordinator. So, how our EAT requests take a really long time to come in, somebody that would help manage those, somebody that help manage training, help manage a lot of different aspects of it. So we're in the process of putting that together right now for contractors. So if anybody knows of a contractor who might be interested in being the Region 2 FEP coordinator, we're currently putting that job description or contract together right now. So just a little bit of information I just wanted to share, and maybe we can put an agenda item on for each month. So if there is an update, I can provide it. And if there isn't, we can just pass over.
Oh, great. Great idea. Thanks for representing us. Let's do the same thing for Neshoba Associated Boards of Health, since Sheila is fulfilling a similar role on that group for the board. Usually neither of them require that much time for discussion, but no reason not to have a standing item on the agenda for both. And if there's anything to report, then we can have the report. If there isn't, then we'll just skip over it.
I will
So-
say that they are trying to ramp up Region 2 FEP and get a lot more involvement and be a bigger presence because the presence has fallen off over the past. So there may be more to talk about as we go forward.
All right. Anything else from anybody before we get into minutes approval for August?
That's it.
Okay. So, Samantha, the minutes had gone out. You either did or did not receive changes.
No changes received.
All right. So we're in a position to have a motion for approval of the August 22nd meeting minutes. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the Thursday, August 22nd, Lancaster Board of Health meeting.
A second.
All in favor? Melinda,
Aye.
Sheila,
Aye.
Jeff Pastor, aye. Motion is carried. Minutes are approved. We'll be meeting October 24th, and we're getting everybody that needs to leave by 11 out with 28 minutes to spare.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
No need to congratulate me.
I hope
And-
that everything goes well for you during your surgery. I'll be thinking.
Much appreciated. All right, folks. Unless there's anything else, I think we'll be happy to entertain a motion for adjournment.
All right.
We have to appoint someone to be in your chairman role while you're out.
Technically, it would be the clerk.
Well, I guess that's me.
Okay.
Right. So in my absence, Melinda would act as chair.
Nothing like,
As long as we have a quorum of two, we can continue to meet. As long as there's at least two of the three of us present. So, and certainly, Melinda, if you want to communicate with me about any concerns or questions you might have anytime between now and October 9th, I'm happy to make some time.
thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Of course. All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
There a second?
Second.
All in favor? Melinda,
Aye.
Sheila,
Aye.
Jeff, aye. Motion's carried. Meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody.